This is the day the Lord has made, says the psalmist. So let's rejoice and be glad in it. Sometimes I wonder what was going through the psalmist's life, that he's able to simply say, hey, let's all get together and rejoice. Maybe he was having a really good day. Maybe something happened in his life, or he heard some good news from somebody, or maybe he just was one of these happy-go-lucky guys that was enjoying his time. Or maybe it was a she, and she decided that she wanted to help others to rejoice. Maybe she got some really good news and was able to share that with others. Whatever it is, this exhortation, this invitation to joy is something that the psalmist offers, and something that we are invited into as well. This past Sunday was the Sunday in which we lit the Advent candle of joy, the one different color. If you're following the traditional Advent wreath, and there's the other purple candles, and then this one is pink. It's a celebration of joy. But it feels a little weird to command people to have joy, doesn't it? I mean, Paul says to the Philippians, rejoice. Again, I tell you, rejoice. Let your gentleness and happiness be evidence to all people. Rejoice. And in case you didn't hear it, rejoice, have joy, celebrate, and have fun. But we don't always feel like it. And I wonder sometimes whether we might take joy to mean only an emotion. The Bible seems to describe joy in two ways. One, as an emotion, as this kind of overflowing, bubbling of something that is good that has happened to us and makes us feel good, right? It's that warmth in our chest, the smile that comes into our faces, the feeling to stand up straighter. Yeah, it's that look of joy that you might see maybe on the groom's face as the bride starts walking down the aisle. It's joy. But there's another way that the Bible uses these words that mean rejoice, and it's to do something. Literally, some of the Hebrew words in the Old Testament that we translate to rejoice or joy or have joy is to turn yourself around, to dance, to have fun, to turn around, to enjoy, to celebrate, to move, to be in a place where you can make yourself celebrate, where you can enjoy things. And this brings me a question, because as I've been thinking about this, I've been wondering about what are the things that make me have joy. One of the things that gives me joy is the ability to learn new things, as I have been with these videos and with other things. And you may have noticed the little title track that's now in there. I'm learning how to do that on our video editing software. And it's just, I really enjoy learning and succeeding at new things. I don't always enjoy learning and then failing, but that comes with the territory. I also really enjoy just being silly sometimes and having some fun, which is one of the reasons why I put these little M&M men in here. I don't know if any of you have noticed them before, but they're here in my office to remind myself. They're actually directly across from where I normally sit at my desk. And it's to remind myself to be fun and spontaneous at times. The most fun that I have had with my family, with my wife, with my kids, and even with my parents and with others have been just spontaneous, silly, and goofy times. I remember a book that we had, and I have been looking for this book for a long time, and I can't remember the name of it, but I went to the library when we lived in Charlottetown, PEI, and I got a book there on, it was imagination and parenting, or imaginative parenting, or storytelling for children. I can't remember exactly what it was, but it had all kinds of exercises and ideas on how to create imaginative roles with your children. And I remember we used to have so much fun. We had this little purple elephant that we had imagined into being, and it used to live in our backyard, and then it would also come into the house sometimes and steal some of our food at different times. And it was a story that we had continued for quite a long time. And now that the kids are growing up, I think, well, we've lost some of that. I've lost some of that. And I recognize sometimes that maybe that's why God tells us we have to be like little children. Because we have to be able to be in the moment, let go of some of our seriousness, and to be to be childlike and maybe even to be childish. Maybe our definition of maturity needs to change. That's a whole nother video, I think. But I think the way that we see or define maturity in our day and age is not a good definition. It's not a biblical definition. After all, if God says or Jesus says that the kingdom of heaven belongs to children, and maybe we need to learn to be a little more like children. And one of the things that we can learn is how to have joy in any particular kind of moment. So what are the things that you do that help you have joy? And here's the biggest question: how can you help others have joy in this season? I love that as things are closing down and as things are coming to a head because of COVID, and as restrictions are heightening, we're also at the same time thinking about ways to bring joy to other people as we're purchasing gifts and maybe sending them cards or flowers or whatever else, or maybe some silly little thing that you found somewhere that you thought they would get a kick out of, and so you're sending it to them. I love that, because that's what we need to do now more than ever. So I would encourage you to find a number of different families outside of your immediate family that you can just simply send something to or do something for in order to bring joy in their life. Not necessarily to serve a purpose, because after all, if we need it, it's not really a gift, is it? And it's a way for us to remind one another and ourselves of what grace looks like. It's a gift, something we have not when we need it, but something that's simply given in order to bring new life and joy into our lives. So remember, as you try to reach out this week with the joy that God has given you, find ways to, one, find joy in yourself, and to bring joy and smiles to others.